If getting your child out the door feels like negotiating a hostage release every single morning, you're not imagining it. The screen off for dinner battle, the meltdowns leaving the grocery store, the Sunday night dread before the school week even starts, and the 45 standover over a pair of socks. Transitions are one of the most common flashpoints for kids today, and they hit hardest for kids with ADHD, anxiety, or sensory processing disorder. And the harder you try to manage the behavior, the more stuck everyone gets. Parents tell us all the time, I tried every reward chart, every visual timer, every deep breath, and nothing sticks. And here's what most parenting advice misses. Smooth transitions aren't really a behavior problem, they're a nervous system issue. And once you understand what's actually happening in your child's brain and body during a change, everything shifts, including what kind of help actually moves the needle. Now, this video is for parents whose child melts down at every change, whether it's the park, turning off that iPad, or starting the school week. If you tried every reward chart, countdown, and consequence, and your child is still falling apart between activities, this is for you. So, what are you going to learn this today? Well, you'll learn about why transitions are so neurologically demanding for kids, what stuck in stress mode actually looks like during the transition, and why kids with ADHD, anxiety, and sensory processing disorder struggle more, and the perfect storm of stressors behind nervous system dysregulation. And lastly, home strategies that actually work and what to do when they aren't enough. So, we see this every single week in our office. A parent walks in, exhausted, describing the same scene over and over. Morning ending in tears, transitions at school require teacher intervention, pickup is chaos, bedtime is a 2-hour standoff, and the child has often already been labeled, sometimes with ADHD, sometimes with sensory processing disorder, sometimes anxiety. And the family has tried therapies, parenting books, accommodation at school, and every transition tool the internet recommends. Some help a little, but none really gets to the root. The parents say the same version of, I feel like I'm failing. And they're not. They're navigating a child whose nervous system can't downshift. And no amount of better parenting can change that on its own. And the numbers back up why these struggles cluster together. A 2022 national survey found anxiety was among the most common co-occurring condition in kids with ADHD, affecting roughly 4 in 10. That overlap isn't coincidence. These conditions share a common neurological root. And until you address that root, you're chasing symptoms in a system that simply doesn't have the capacity to settle. So, first up, transitions demand a lot from a developing brain. Transitions ask the brain to disengage, hold the next step in mind, and shift gears at once. And researchers call this skill set shifting, moving attention from one task to another. And it runs on executive function in the prefrontal cortex, which keeps maturing into the mid-20s. Now, for kids with ADHD, anxiety, or sensory challenges, these circuits develop differently. The harder the brain is already working, the more taxing every switch becomes. A small request of putting on your shoes can land like a much bigger one. Now, stressed nervous system can't downshift. The autonomic nervous system works like a car with a gas pedal and a brake pedal. The sympathetic fight-or-flight branch is the gas, activation, alertness, go. Now, the parasympathetic rest digest branch is the brake, calm, regulation, the ability to adapt. Now, many kids today live with a stuck gas pedal and a weak brake, driven by an inactive vagus nerve. And this imbalance is called dysautonomia, and it keeps the body in a low-grade alarm. An ordinary change registers as a threat, and meltdowns follow. ADHD, anxiety, and SPD share the same root. The diagnoses on the chart may differ, but the underlying neurological pattern looks strikingly similar. All three involve sympathetic dominance and a reduced capacity for flexible, regulated brain states. Now, a child with ADHD finds it almost physically painful to break away from a preferred activity. A child with anxiety is flooded with worry before the change even arrives. And a child with SPD is already overworking to process sound, light, touch, and this is why behavior charts often fail flat. You can't discipline the nervous system into regulating. So the perfect storm behind nervous system dysregulation. Now, the perfect storm is a stack of early stressors that overwhelm a developing nervous system. It often starts with prenatal stress. Cortisol crosses the placenta and primes hypersensitivity. And then you have birth trauma. C-sections, forceps, vacuum, induction, or stall labor strain the upper neck. And then the early years pile on antibiotics, ear infections, falls, screens, and an overstimulating world. And each stressor alone might be no big deal, but stacked together to leave the system stuck on the gas. The result is subluxation, a neurological interference that keeps the stress response locked on. So what actually helps at home and beyond? Well, give previews and countdowns so the brain has time to prepare instead of getting blindsided. Build predictable routines. The same sequence each morning turns transitions into habits. Add movement, a quick stretch, or jumping jacks helps discharge stress energy. Protect sleep. It's when the brain recharges its regulatory capacity. And then stay regulated yourself. Kids co-regulate with adults around them. And when home strategies aren't enough, that's a signal that nervous system needs deeper support. So, if your child keeps melting down through every transition, no matter what you try, it's not a parenting failure. And it's not a discipline problem. It's not something they'll just grow out of on their own. It's a sign the nervous system needs more support than home strategy alone can give. At Vanilla Chiropractic in Virginia Beach, we use advanced insight scans. We do heart rate variability, surface EMG, and thermal scanning to see exactly where the nervous system is stuck and what's driving that dysregulation. And from there, gentle, specific adjustments help restore balance, ease the gas pedal, and bring the brake pedal back online. As that happens, parents tell us the daily flashpoints soften, so they have easier mornings, fewer meltdowns at pickup, smoother bedtimes, more flexible when plans change, and your child doesn't need more labels. They need answers. So click the link in our bio or send us a DM to schedule today.